Hi everyone, I'm your coach Todd Heugly, and today I want to talk about hinge and pop in the short game when it comes to chipping and pitching, and then L and the release. That has really taken off, and I receive a ton of questions and feedback about that. So I want to get a little bit deeper into that. And before we do, please hit the subscribe button, like the channel, share the videos, and comment below because I love talking golf, and your questions are what help me develop my skill sets as well as yours. So let's get into it. So there are a lot of ways to chip. I've seen it taught countless ways, and I teach it in a way that's kind of dependent on the skill level. And if we have a beginner, the chipping stroke, like you're putting, is very, very good to learn just because it really helps them kind of develop putting and the chipping motion. Now, when it comes to a little bit more advanced, I am really big on golfers taking the club back, hitting the ball, and kind of having a pop motion, if you will, when it comes to impact. Ball will be slightly back at center. Feet are open a little bit. I'm on an angle like this. I feel that actually helps golfers come in from the inside as opposed to coming out. And one thing I don't want to see is definitely that. But this little motion of just here and pop, here, pop, has helped players of actually all abilities. And it's interesting when I show beginners the putting chip, okay, that stroke, and then we go into the hinge and pop, they immediately say that feels a lot better. And it's just a simple little motion. Just take it back, just back, pop. That's all we're looking to do. Pretty darn simple stuff. And then if you want to lengthen it out a little bit, and when I say hinge, I always like to kind of start the backswing just feeling that the club head moves first. That helps golfers in all parts of their game. I mean, the takeaway, most people are kind of dragging, but when they get that club head moving and then that little hinge pop type of motion right there, that will really help you develop really solid contact. You're going to develop different trajectories because of where you put the golf ball, either in the slightly back, in the middle, or in the front. And then, of course, you can use any club you want. Now, I'm a very big believer in either using just 2 clubs for chipping or mastering 1. And that might sound crazy, but the best chippers that I know really are incredible with 1 club, whether it's a 56, whether it's a 60, a 58. Some are great with their 54 degree, but they spend time hitting bump and runs with that shot, going high, going low. They really develop that skill set. And it's interesting, it is pretty much kind of developed around hinge and pop. And that is something that is kind of universal to those really good chippers. And when you watch the best players, when they chip, it's a hit and then they stop, and even on their pitches, they're here or they're maybe getting up to here on a longer, like 50, 60 yard pitch, but they're really hitting that ball with that kind of pop motion, just pop, and then momentum is just carrying them through. This is actually a very good way to dial in your chipping. So if you're having some struggles with your short game, give this a try. And again, it's just up, pop, and then a little bit longer, pop. And don't be afraid to accelerate, get that ball, because it's going to spin, and you're also going to develop a shot that can release, and you're going to have a lot of fun with that. Now, let's hop into L on the release. L in the release, what is it? And it's basically what it sounds like. You're going to create this L in the backswing. And then once your hands feel they get right into this area, then you're just going to let the club work into the golf ball by unhinging. And I've used the term of firing the right hand. It's almost like you feel you're hammering a nail, and everybody has that motion or that feeling, or you can just feel this, okay? And when I talk about releasing the club, which the term is goofy anyway, I talk about this particular approach. This is for golfers who have a very, very hard time getting that club back out in front of them because they've been used to dragging the club head, which is still the biggest plague in golf, is this drag, 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 and people trying to get shaft lean. And yes, if you can get shaft lean, fantastic. And that actually comes from the body. It's not by dragging the handle. So if you're attempting to get shaft lean, we'll get into this real quick, little sidebar. If you're holding on to this angle, you're not going to get it. Now you have to really try to manufacture a shot. And that is actually releasing the club, but at the incorrect time. If you do it back here and let your body now move, fantastic. And if you want shaft lean, just watch this simple little motion. If I turn that lead hip, watch what my club does. It goes forward. So when I'm coming in and I have this open or my body open a little bit, I'm going to get shaft lean, even if it feels like I'm doing this. If I have that hip cleared out of the way just a little bit, it doesn't have to be tour level. And again, everybody's different, so you have to take into account your athletic personality, what you can and can't do. But when you're trying to develop shaft lean, get out of here, B, it's from that lead hip just pivoting. Now, to practice this, you're simply just going to go L, release. And that is how you develop the swing. And golfers that are doing this are beyond excited. They're like, dude, this is incredible. How come this is not talked about? Why are coaches not talking about releasing the club like this? And I said, well, they're afraid. They don't want people to have an early release. And the early release, of course, we don't want that. But if you're whipping the club through impact, you're going to have a little bit of shaft lean just because your body's going to respond. It's interesting how if you were to take your arms up and just pull them down, and look how my body naturally starts to respond. I'm not doing that. I mean, yeah, I could do that on my own, but pulling the club down makes my body go forward. And then when I'm here, I just whip the club through. And that's what L in the release is all about. And it works with every single club in the bag. And when it comes to chipping and pitching, I'm really urging you to try that little hinge and pop. I think you're going to love it. But just go out and practice this nice, loose, relaxed. Here, whip. That's all you're after. And you're really going to develop a lot of feel for this club head. And you're going to gain speed. It's interesting how powerful L to L truly is when it's done correctly. And all it is just here, whip through, and you can come to a full finish. You don't have to stop at L on the forward side and the L on the release. You can come to a full finish, which I'm going to urge once you dial this in. But to start, here, here, and then here, here, and you can go a little bit longer in the backswing if you want. And it really is a great way to play, and golfers are loving it. So there, and that's basically what L and the release is. But the key component is that right there. And no, it's not going to cause a hook. It's not a flip. There's no casting. You're not going to early release because your body's going to respond. And if you do have early release, let's just work on getting that body a little bit more forward and opening that hip up. And again, it's all dependent on what your body can and cannot do, but this has helped players all the way into their 90s. It's wonderful for my junior players, and they're all surprised when it comes to golfers who have been playing for 20 years, how much speed they produce and how much control they have. And I had a YouTube video on it before, and it was like it just all of a sudden took off for whatever reason. And I started getting flooded with messages saying, this is the greatest way to play. Why is this not all over the place? This is how golf should be played. Genius. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not a genius. L to L has been around forever. How it's taught can be different. And understanding this whipping of the club is very, very powerful, especially when it's done correctly. Get out there, try this. I know you're going to love it.